In this video, you're going to learn how to create an amazing stilt character. When I was a kid, at least one summer, you'd get a chance to try these stilts out. Your mom or your dad or an uncle would whip them together, and then with your brothers and sisters, you go out practicing and trying until pretty soon you're walking around the neighborhood on stilts. It's still pretty easy to make. And if you go on Google and say, how do you make stilts? You'll get a bunch of different plans that are pretty easy to do. Once you got your stilts, you're ready to start practicing. So once you have the stilts and they're made, you hold them in front of you like this. And here's the trick. You put your arms through with your elbows up, like that. And that gives you good stability around your arms and elbows. And then you step up onto the stilts, and it's all about getting your balance. So it's good when you're learning to have someone spot you. Most important thing when learning stilts, especially around other people, is when you get off to hold on to the stilts. And I'll show you what that means in a minute. But first, let's just step up and see what it looks like. And it's really important to remember to keep the pressure on the step and your foot. In other words, you pull up with your hand. You got to be very active when you're stilt walking. So you keep your foot on the step. Now let's get another other one on and we're ready to go. Up, there we go. Now the first thing you got to do is try to get your balance. When I'm still walking, I keep moving. It's like a clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock, from one side to the other. Okay? You keep your hands down. You push your legs into the step so you don't lift them off, because if you lift them off, you'll fall off. So you've got to kind of keep your foot on the step and your hand is pushing up to keep the tension on your foot. Okay? So let's get up again. Arms through, elbows out, step up. There we go. And move back and forth, back and forth. Then straighten out, look up, and then if you want to walk forward, you just lean ahead or lean back. If you want to turn around, you just slowly pivot around on the stilts. And it's very important to remember that when you get off, remember, hold on to the stilts. Even if you fall off, hold on to the stilts. If not, they'll go flying, okay? So that's the basics for these stilts. Now you can also buy smaller, really well-made stilts made out of metal and stuff. You buy them in toy stores or sports shops, and they're really adjustable. You can adjust the size, and they're great for younger kids. After you get used to trying your step-on stilts, you're ready to try these strap-on stilts. Now traditional strap-on stilts looked a lot like the wooden stilts that I showed you with the step-on ones. They'd have a step here, would come up here, and you could strap to your leg, and there'd be one stick going down to the ground with a rubber knob on the bottom, and that's what you'd walk on. And that's the traditional circus strap-on stilt. But I like using these, what I call plaster stilts, because if you're doing a parade or you want to stay on for a long time, these are a lot easier to do. It's great if you can learn both. The traditional circus style stilt is great for doing like a pirouette and stuff on, and it's a little harder skill to master, but these are just as good, just as effective, and have the same visual impact on an audience. So here you take your foot, put it in the step right here, you strap the stilts on nice and tight. These are great because they have these ratchet straps. You strap this up here. Make sure they're good and tight. You don't want any wobbling when you're wearing your stilts. And you can even tighten. So these are kind of modern science fiction stilts. Put this one over here. Really take your time when you're putting your foot in and when you're strapping the stilts on, because you really want to be safe. So just take your time. There's no rush. Strip them in there. Make sure you tighten them up. Put the last one in here. Again, make sure everything. And I always check my stilts almost every time I use them to make sure they're nice and tight. All the screws are fastened in and everything. So there you have your stilts. But the beauty of strap-on stilts is you can wear costumes. You can become a character. Your hands are free. You can juggle or you can do devil sticks while you're on the stilts. So I have a great costume that a friend of mine, Debbie Clark, made for me a long time ago. So I'm going to put these over, put these down. I'm going to get my assistant, Ruth, to come in and help me pull these down. Hi, Ruth.
Danny?
Okay, now, you can see that they really extend my legs. I've also got a jacket that was made by Debbie. And it's nice and long, so it gives me that illusion that I have even more height. I'm just going to do it up here. And I've also got a hat. And most still characters, when you see them, are wearing a top hat or a big tall hat, which also adds to the illusion of height. They often wear vertical stripes and things like that too. So, here we go. Now I'm going to stand up, and I'm really used to having strap-on stilts on. But when I'm learning, I always have an assistant, like Ruth, to make sure that you get behind me and make sure you don't fall backwards, which is what you really want to worry about. I'm going to get up, move around a bit, and then I'm going to show you the basics of how I learned to do the stilts, okay? So, here's what it looks like when I stand up. Are you ready? Here we go. Whoa! Again, if I was on my regular stick stilts, I'd be going back and forth. But with these stilts, I can actually stand up because they have a little point of balance. When I'm teaching people how to learn, I get them to face a wall, and then I'd have my assistant behind me, making sure she's just touching the small of my back, and I get used to this balance. It just takes really getting over the fear of the height. When they get really used to that, I can get them to turn, leaning into the wall, always lifting your feet nice and high, checking the ground in front of you for objects or water, and just go slowly forward, go against the wall, go forward. Eventually you can go along the whole length of the wall. Then, with the spotter, you move away from the wall and just start getting used to walking. Walking on the spot and then going forward. Takes a while, don't go too fast, stay within your comfort zone, and eventually you'll get it. Pretty soon, you'll be walking in parades. Beauty of these stilts is that you can also juggle or hold a big flag. I like juggling or having a devil stick. You can be in a parade. This is really great for attracting attention. You can juggle away. It's a lot of fun. Just remember, take your time, go slowly, and soon you'll be walking on stilts like a pro.